Hey, welcome to Whitwell Anderson here where we talk about finance and economics and politics in simple terms. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about what is a SPAC, and we're going to talk about what is a direct listing. A SPAC stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Company, okay? And a direct listing is also called a DPO, a direct listing offer. Let's talk about SPACs before. A gentleman named David Newman, David Nussbaum, back in the 90s, introduced SPACs. Matter of fact, he tried to trademark the word SPAC. In the 90s, he formed many SPACs, they all failed, and he only was fined $50,000, and he's working today. That SPAC, that there was GKN Securities back in 1992. Well, SPACs fell out of favor in the 90s. They started to come back in 2003. And in 2020, that seems to be what people are talking about. They're known as blank check or blind pools. It could be a petri dish for fraud, unless you know what you're doing. Major SPAC was the United Wholesale Mortgage Company. They, I believe, are the second largest mortgage company in the world. They went SPAC. DraftKings went SPAC. You know, DraftKings are probably the company that does the betting. But one thing I need to look at is a gentleman named Bill Ackman. And Bill Ackman is currently doing something with SPACs that, if he gets it done, it's going to really be interesting what happens with SPACs. I think there's been a lot of interest to it. There's been quite a few. As I said, you must be really careful with SPACs. Nico, the car company or the truck company, they raised the SPAC, and the money being contributors quite a bit, and they haven't even produced one product. So how it works? Well, what happens is a company will go through the SEC and get what is known as a shell company. And the shell company, which is a SPAC, has roughly 2 years to raise capital. If they don't raise capital in 2 years, they have to give that money back to the stockholders. So it's a good and bad thing. It's a good thing that they have 2 years. It's a bad thing they have 2 years. I mean, what happens when you're a month away from 2 years and you don't have an opportunity? You don't want to give a lot of money back, so you might go off and make a bad decision and buy a merger of the company, which is not good. A merger, again, typically is two companies merging to be one. But in this case, we talk about something called reverse merger, and reverse merger is usually when the smaller company buys the bigger company. The advantages in SPACs are quite big. You can make a lot of money if you find the right one. You come in at a ground floor opportunity. You get a clean shell. The profits can be phenomenal. The disadvantages that you run into is pump and dump. Like Mr. Nussbaum did earlier. He just pumped the stocks up and dumped them. Fraud. As I said, it's a petri dish for failure unless you know what you're doing. But in a SPAC, what you're doing is you're buying the management of this company, his or her contacts, his or her track record, to come up with something for you that is profitable in the future. Let's talk about back to direct listings now. Direct listings, the first direct listing I know was with Ben & Jerry's. And that was done in 1984, where they advertised in the newspaper, and they got $750,000 in money. One of the issues that the big investment firms have with SPACs is because they're able, if the company has enough knowledge base or marketing knowledge in there, you really may not use to have, you really may not have to use an investment banker. And it may make more sense to save all that money. Give you an idea really quick. An IPO, initial public offering, costs about 7% of the gross dollars you spend. A SPAC can cost 3 or 4%, so you can save a lot of money. Let's see. The thing about direct listing is typically the shares do not dilute the company. They're passed on from the initial buyers of the shares to be sold in the public, and that's their reward. However, there have been cases where secondary offerings have been done for direct listings. Okay, so again, like we said, you're not going to get any help with the book building process if you go direct listing. You have to have confidence in the management team and their track record when you go direct listing, because they may not have the contacts that a bank like JP Morgan would have all over the world. I'd like to thank you very much for your time. I'd like to have you give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. Thanks. Bye.